Today's recap of The Young and the Restless airs in the USA on Friday, May 2, 2025, and is available one day earlier in Canada. We post our RI and R recaps every weekday. Billy stops by to see the changes Diane made to the house. Diane asks for his opinion on the refresh of his family home. Billy responds that his feedback doesn't matter since he no longer lives there. Diane reminds him that he is still in Abbott and that his feelings are important. Billy admits he preferred the house as it was before. He acknowledges that it is beautiful and that Diane did a nice job, but it no longer feels like the home he remembers. Diane hopes that Billy will eventually come to appreciate the changes. Billy recalls it as the house John Abbott built, and that memory will always stay with him. Diane shares that Jack believes John would approve of the updates. Billy replies that approval from Jack does not mean he has to agree. They both acknowledge being taken aback, and Billy decides to leave. Summer is shocked to learn that both Sally and Chelsea are considering leaving Marchetti. She steps away to take a call and process the news. Sally and Chelsea agree that this situation is not good. Chelsea is curious about Sally's offer. Sally promises to share everything if Chelsea reveals whether Adam asked her to work at Newman Media. Chelsea admits that Sally is correct. Sally informs her that Billy wants her to step in for Phyllis at Abbott Communications. Summer returns and shares that Daniel is worried about Phyllis since Billy fired her. She understands Billy's perspective. Sally reminds Summer that Billy holds Phyllis in high regard. Summer questions if Billy wants Sally to take her mother's place. Sally confirms that is indeed the case. Chelsea reveals that Adam has proposed a job for her at Newman Media. Summer reminds Sally of her earlier declaration that fashion was her life. Sally insists that fashion is in her blood. Summer is taken aback by both of their decisions. Neither wants to leave Summer in a difficult position, and both express gratitude towards her. Summer wishes them well and hopes that Billy and Adam appreciate them as much as she does. She thanks them for being honest with her. They all agree to embrace their new challenges. They raise a toast to Marchetti women. Adam visits Victor to discuss his offer to Chelsea. Nick enters and interrupts before Adam can finish. He updates his father on his recent trip. Adam informs them that he offered Chelsea the COO position. Victor is pleased to hear that Adam is bringing Chelsea on board. Nick asks if Chelsea has accepted the job. Adam begins to explain her qualifications. As Nick pours a drink, Adam senses his brother's hesitation about the suggestion. Nick questions whether this move is for Adam or Chelsea. Adam insists that the offer was not premeditated. Victor reassures them that Chelsea is smart enough to recognize a good opportunity. He expresses his desire for his sons to get along. Nick states he will be happy if this is what Chelsea truly wants. Mariah sits alone, ignoring a call from Tessa. Sharon enters and asks what is troubling her daughter. Mariah insists everything is fine and that she is just happy to see her mother. Sharon expresses her joy that Nick has decided to join them and presses Mariah to share why she seems sad. Mariah confesses she did something terrible during her trip. They move to the patio seating for privacy. Mariah struggles to find the words, hoping that silence will make her guilt disappear. Sharon urges her to talk to someone, suggesting Tessa. Mariah adamantly refuses to tell Tessa about this. She cannot let her wife find out what she has done. Mariah admits that Ian's return affected her more than she can acknowledge. The pain she has been carrying surfaced during her trip. Sharon reassures her not to blame herself for Ian's actions. Mariah reveals that she let her hurt overwhelm her. She opened the minibar and had a few drinks, leading to a wave of guilt. Mariah cannot face Tessa without breaking down. Sharon insists they can work through this together. Mariah wishes she could erase her actions. Sharon understands that feeling, stating everyone has been there at some point. Mariah confesses she did something Ian would be proud of. Sharon does not want to hear her speak that way. Mariah asserts that she feels broken, but Ian is not the one who broke her. She explains that her actions are not out of character, they reflect who she is. Sharon reminds her that she is not cruel or selfish. While she does not need to disclose her actions to Sharon, she should tell Tessa, who loves her for who she truly is. Mariah believes Tessa's kindness and spirit are reasons she can never reveal what she did. Tessa leaves Mariah a voicemail suggesting they take a trip to escape for a while. Phyllis enters and thanks Tessa for agreeing to meet with her. Tessa expresses her disinterest in spying on Daniel for his mother. Phyllis believes Tessa dislikes her. She reminds her that she and Sharon have bonded as mothers. All she wants is to improve things for her son. Phyllis pleads with Tessa to help her save Daniel's life. Tessa acknowledges Phyllis's love for her son, but insists Daniel needs to handle this on his own. Phyllis argues that playing the guitar will not aid her son's healing. She believes she can help get everything back on track for both her and Daniel at Abbott Communications. Tessa insists Daniel is not ready, but Phyllis is unwilling to accept this. Tessa believes Phyllis needs a friend to confide in. Sharon enters, stating she has one in her now. She quickly leaves after receiving a text from Summer. Summer makes plans to fly out and find a new creative director for Marchetti. Nick and Phyllis enter, astonished that both Sally and Chelsea are leaving. Summer rushes off to pack and say goodbye to Daniel and Harrison. Summer arrives and Diane lets her in. She is amazed at how beautiful the house looks. Harrison and Kyle enter. Summer informs them she has to fly to Italy tonight. Harrison suggests he and Kyle join her. Summer would love that, but she will be working the entire time. She promises to call as soon as she lands. Kyle shares that he and Claire are moving in together. Summer asks him to wait until her return to tell Harrison. Kyle and Summer hug goodbye. Billy meets with Sally, who informs him that she is accepting his job offer. Adam meets with Chelsea, and she accepts his proposal. She informs him that they will be in direct competition with their exes, emphasizing that it is strictly business. Damien attempts to arrange a meeting between Dumas and Lily, who wants to know why he is interested in meeting with her. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Jolie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott may strike back with an Audra Charles trap. Will Kyle and Claire turn the tables to ruin Victor Newman's plan? Victor doesn't want to know the details of how Audra intends to break up Claire and Kyle, but he indeed wants her to get it done ASAP. However, there are already signs that Victor's scheme won't work out as well as he might have hoped. For starters, Y and R fans know Audra has made zero progress, so that alone could be an indicator that she's all talk. Although Audra has been making plenty of confident predictions, she may be overselling her abilities here. Kyle hates Audra's guts and is on high alert thanks to all her boasting about Vibrant. Plus, both Claire and Kyle know that Victor hired Audra, so they assume this involves making a move against Kyle. In other words, Victor and Audra have already tipped their hand. Under the circumstances, it's going to be awfully hard to lure Kyle into a compromising position and have Claire believe he betrayed her. At some point, Claire and Kyle might decide to turn the tables on Audra as well as Victor. Before Audra even has a chance to truly make a move, Kyle and Claire might put it together that she's been ordered to split them up. It's easy to imagine Claire and Kyle setting a trap for Audra instead, so they might play along to convince Audra and Victor that the plan is working. Kyle and Claire could carry out a little charade before spinning things around on the sinister duo. Perhaps Claire and Kyle could teach Victor a lesson while humiliating Audra in the process. Kyle might even try to snatch up Vibrant and fold it into Jabot by the end of all this. Of course, Audra's role in the breakup plot could also be exposed to Nate Hastings, so she may find herself heartbroken while Kyle and Claire get even stronger. Whatever the case, Victor is crossing a line that he promised Claire he wouldn't cross, so Claire might scheme against her grandpa eventually. It would serve both Audra and Victor right if Claire and Kyle duped them with a sneaky plan of their own. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Kyle and Claire could have a few tricks in store, so stay tuned for updates on any stunning news to come. Friday, May 2, 2025. Today on Young and Restless, Billy doesn't like Diane's redesign, Tessa refuses to help Phyllis, and Summer wishes Sally and Chelsea well. Read the last Y and R recap. Lauren gave Michael an ultimatum and Chelsea and Sally considered quitting Marchetti. Billy stops by the Abbott estate to see what Diane has done to the place. He hopes his brother likes it. She asks what he thinks as she takes him around the house. He admits he liked it better the way it was. He wouldn't have changed anything and is surprised his brother doesn't feel the same. He'll admit she did a nice job, but it no longer feels like home. This was always John's house. He could feel him when he'd walk in. Now part of him is gone. Diane says Jack thought John would approve. Maybe, but I don't have to, he admits, walking out. At Society, Chelsea and Sally assure Summer that they are considering Marchetti, but it is not a done deal. Summer walks off to take a call. Chelsea and Sally say this is not good. Sally asks her if Adam asked her to come work at Newman Media. Chelsea admits it, so Sally suggests she keep her friends close and her girlfriends closer. Chelsea is not surprised to hear that Sally has been offered a job from Billy. Summer returns and announces her mom has been fired. She can understand why, since her mom is more concerned with managing Daniel's grief. She asks if Billy wants Sally to take Phyllis' place at Abbott Communications. Sally admits it. Summer sighs and crosses her arms, but assures her she gets it, but wonder if she was lying when she told her that fashion is her life. Spectra says fashion is in her blood. Summer is shocked they are throwing their jobs away for their boyfriends. Neither of them want to leave her in a bind. Summer says the company will be a success without them, and she'll support them leaving if that's what they want. She'd like to talk them out of this, but thinks they should go for it. She only hopes Billy and Adam appreciates them as much as she does. They toast to Marchetti women and laugh. Adam rushes over to the new ranch to tell his father about the offer he made. Before he can explain, Nick shows up. Victor is immediately distracted to welcome him back. Adam looks put out. They chat about how well Noah is doing. His club is a huge hit and he's still with Ally. Adam announces that he has asked Chelsea to come and work with him. Victor is glad. Nick isn't. He reminds them of how fashion is what Chelsea loves. Is this move for her or for Adam? Adam says no one can get Chelsea to do anything she doesn't want to do. He didn't expect her to agree to it. Victor likes them all getting along and approves of Chelsea. Nick offers to be happy for her and his brother. They shake. Nick is sure Summer will be bummed. Adam is sure Sally can take Chelsea's place. At Crimson Lights, Maria is avoiding answering calls from Mariah. When Sharon walks in, Maria throws her arms around her. "Thank God you're home," she tells her mom. Sharon wonders what's wrong. Maria downplays it, but her mom can see she's sad. Maria admits she did something horrible on her trip. They go out to the patio. Mariah can't explain because it's too terrible. Her mom urges her to talk to someone. Maria says her wife can never find out what she did. She admits Ian's return impacted her in more ways than she wanted to admit. The broken part of her came out when she was alone on her trip. Her father figure was a predator, and it haunts her. Part of her still thinks there is something wrong with her, and that took her to a very dark place. She opened up the minibar and got wasted. She's broken, but Ian is not the one who broke her. She followed him for years. What she did wasn't out of character. It showed her she was someone with no character. Her mom says feeling bad means she has character and a mistake can't define her. She should tell Tessa what she did. Sharon tells her she needs to unburden herself. She reminds her that the good in her attracted Tessa. Maria says that's why Tessa can never find out what she did. Phyllis meets with Tessa at the jazz club. She tells her they both want what's best for Daniel. Tessa immediately makes it clear she won't spy on him for her. Phyllis assumes she's Team Sharon and points out that she and Sharon now have a bond too. She plays the mother card and says she's only trying to make her child better. "I'm begging you to help me save my son's life," Phyllis pleads. Tessa thinks they have different ideas about how to help their kids. She's just listening to Daniel and teaching him to play guitar. Phyllis doubts that will get him over losing the love of his life and jokes they should find someone to play the bongos. They talk about her being out at Abbott Communications and Phyllis insists Billy will hire them back. When Tessa says Daniel isn't ready for this, Phyllis shuts her down and insists her son can get creative at work. Tessa says you can't be creative if your heart is broken and Daniel's is. She says Phyllis could use getting out of her head too. "I didn't need harmonica lessons," Phyllis says. She gets a text from Summer and abruptly exits. Nick joins Supergirl at Society. She welcomes him home and announces she's headed to Europe to get replacements for Sally and Chelsea. Phyllis joins them and she says she has to jet. Once Summer takes off, her parents say she's off to conquer the world. They joke about Nick hiring Sharon to work at Newman. He asks how Phyllis is and she insists she's good. Summer stops by the Abbott house and tells Diane how amazing it looks. Kyle and Harrison join them and she explains she has to fly to Europe. Harrison thinks they should all go. She'd love that but will be super busy. She hugs her son and he offers her his special euro so she can spend it on anything she wants. As he and Diddy go off to get it, Kyle informs his ex that he and Claire are moving in together. It sounds soon to her and she asks him not to tell their son until she gets back. He gives her a hug. Billy meets Sally at the GCAC. She tells him what happened with Summer and how her boss urges her to follow her heart. She tells Billy she wants to do this with him. Adam meets Chelsea at the lounge and she announces that she's taking him up on his job offer. He thinks that's amazing. She points out Sally is going to work with Billy and they will be in direct competition. They toast to taking Newman Media to new heights. As promised, "I sent word to Alexander Dumas to try and arrange a meeting with you," Damien tells Lily, and she asks, "He wants to know why you want to meet and what exactly you're after," he explains. "I just joined your family's company, so I can't help but wonder about the timing. Is this Victor's way of testing my loyalty?" Chelsea asks Adam, "You hear this? Are you listening to me? You are going to be sorry you did this to me." Phyllis tells Billy and Sally, "Have you joined Soap Spoilers in our Facebook groups yet? Chat with other like-minded soap fans in our groups, which are dedicated to recaps, spoilers, rumors, gossip, and comings and goings. Check out our Young and Restless Canadian Day Ahead Recaps group." The Young and the Restless recap for Friday, May 2, reveals that Summer Newman will get ready to leave for Italy while Mariah Copeland confesses a drunken mistake. At the Jazz Lounge, Tessa Porter will meet with Phyllis Summers, who'll want help saving her son. After Tessa refuses to spy on Daniel Romalotti Jr. for Phyllis, she'll explain the guitar lessons and leave Phyllis skeptical. At Crimson Lights, Sharon Newman will come home from London and sense that Mariah is upset. Mariah will eventually confess to doing something horrible while she was away on her business trip, something she can't tell Tessa. Sharon will push Mariah to open up, so Mariah will talk about all the Ian Ward drama taking a toll. Mariah will admit to having a few drinks from the mini bar to numb the pain. And when that didn't work, she had a few more. Although Mariah will feel like she's a bad person who did something Ian would be proud of, Sharon won't think she should let one drunken mistake define her. Sharon won't make Mariah tell her what she did, but she'll encourage her to confide in Tessa. However, Mariah will stand her ground and make it clear that Tessa can never know what happened. At the Abbott mansion, Billy Abbott will take a look at the renovations and admit to Diane Jenkins Abbott that he liked things better before. It won't feel like home to Billy since he basically won't sense John Abbott's presence anymore. Diane will seem crushed over Billy's reaction since everyone else has been so supportive. At the Newman Ranch, Adam Newman will tell Victor Newman and a newly returned Nick Newman about offering Chelsea Lawson the COO position at Newman Media. Although Nick will seem a little concerned about Adam dragging Chelsea away from the fashion career she loves, he'll decide he supports it if this is what Chelsea wants. At Society, Summer will step away from the table to take a phone call from Daniel, who'll offer updates on Billy firing Phyllis from Abbott Communications. Next on Friday's I&R episode, Chelsea will admit to Sally Spectra that Adam indeed asked her to come work with him at Newman Media. Sally will also acknowledge that Billy wants her to come take Phyllis' place now that she's out. In the end, Summer will sense that both Chelsea and Sally really want to take these career leaps, so she'll push them to go for it. Soon after, Sally will meet back up with Billy to let him know she's in. Likewise, Chelsea will join Adam in the jazz lounge, where she'll accept his offer and share the news that Sally's going to work with Billy too. Adam will share a toast with Chelsea as they celebrate and make predictions about their bright future working together. Back at Society, Summer will tell Nick and Phyllis about her imminent trip to Milan, since she has to find replacements for Chelsea and Sally. Once Summer says her goodbyes to Phyllis and Nick, she'll head to the Abbott mansion next. Summer will praise Diane over the renovations and announce to Kyle, as well as Harrison Abbott, that she's flying to Milan tonight. Harrison will want to come along with his dad, but Summer will suggest a personal trip later since business will keep her so busy during this one. Summer will give Harrison a big hug before he runs upstairs to get her €1 he saved as a parting gift. That'll give Kyle a chance to spill his plan to move in with Claire Newman. Summer will be a bit thrown and will want Kyle to wait on telling Harrison until she returns from her trip. Kyle will ask if he can give Summer a hug, so they'll share an embrace before he says he'll see her when she gets back. Summer will seem uneasy as she stands in the living room alone. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that there are 4 ways Phyllis Summers can destroy Billy Abbott's world. Phyllis may make Billy pay, so let's talk about why he may regret crossing her in the end. During the week of May 5 to 9, Phyllis will indeed vow to get revenge on Billy for turning his back on her. Making Sally Spectra her replacement at Abbott Communications will rile Phyllis up and put her on this path to vengeance. With that in mind, we should consider how Phyllis might go after payback. I&R spoilers say Phyllis may make some bold moves as she works to take Billy down along with Sally. So here's what she might have in store. 1. Find an ally to help. For starters, Phyllis might find an ally who could prove beneficial to her mission. Adam Newman is always going to have issues with Billy, so it's easy to imagine Phyllis teaming up with him at some point. Chelsea Lawson surely wouldn't approve, but that may not stop Phyllis and Adam from entering a dangerous alliance down the road. Adam wouldn't want to hurt Sally, but he might tell himself that she'll be better off if he blows things up and gets her away from Billy. Regardless, Phyllis might view Adam as the perfect partner in crime to help target Billy in the coming months. From there, Phyllis may go after Abbott Communications. Whether Phyllis' alliance with Adam pans out or not, she may make it her mission to ruin Billy's venture since he fired her and refused to listen to her perspective on Daniel Romalotti Jr. Phyllis may make some strategy updates along the way, as she does whatever it takes to send some bad news and career setbacks in Billy's direction. Next, Phyllis might work to wreck Billy's relationship with Sally. Watching the lovebirds run a company together isn't Phyllis' idea of a good time, so she'll be motivated to tear them apart in more ways than one. If the company's destruction doesn't split up Sally and Billy, then Phyllis might take things even further by finding other ways to sabotage their romance. If Phyllis manages to pull off her plan, then Billy could end up with a failed venture and a broken heart. At that point, Phyllis may take the opportunity to gloat and pour salt in the wound. Phyllis might rub her victory in Billy's face, and basically point out that she followed through on her threat to make him sorry for his actions. For now, the Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Billy will downplay the drama and try to brush off Phyllis' unsettling predictions. But it's clear that trouble's brewing. The Young and the Restless spoilers and rumors tease it's a wrap over at the set of the CBS soap. Melissa Claire Egan, who plays Chelsea Lawson, revealed what could be a possible leak about the end of her character, or was it? Melissa began by telling fans that Elizabeth Hendrickson suggested she document this huge undertaking. She was taping a 3-episode storyline in which she had to memorize 51 pages of dialogue, mentioning a couple of her scene partners, but not necessarily what would happen. One person she mentioned was Eric Braeden, who plays Victor Newman, and Melody Thomas Scott, who plays Nikki Newman. Considering currently the storyline involves Chelsea and Adam Newman living in the new Newman ranch house with their son, it makes sense. But what really gets people's attention and is causing fans to wonder is a scene of her lying on the sidewalk outside of Society. Some fan buzz in the comments of the Instagram story and its subsequent repostings, such as one on X, formerly known as Twitter, tell the tale. Some are confident Missy was just being silly and acting out being so exhausted she was acting out falling asleep on set. But if that's what she was doing, why sprawl out on a hard sidewalk outside of Society, and not on a comfy couch or bed on the Newman Ranch house set? A dark figure can be spotted through the door of the restaurant, possibly looking out at her dressed in a longish black coat. The face cannot be seen because of the lack of lighting. It's possible it's Adam. But what if it's Chelsea's attacker and she's unconscious? If an actor is leaving a show often, it's not announced until after their final scenes have aired. In this case, it will probably be around 6 weeks before viewers see it. The wording, "It's a wrap," was on the shot of Missy sprawled on the sidewalk outside of Society, with the dark figure appearing to be looking at her from inside the restaurant. Of course, even if Chelsea is unconscious in this shot, and it's part of an upcoming scene, it doesn't mean it's a permanent thing or the death of the character. On the other hand, it could be, but there's no fake blood or bruising. She's just lying there sprawled out, her purse beside her on the ground, but holding the handle. That could beg another question: was she poisoned or pregnant and fainted for that reason? In a heart-wrenching turn of events on The Young and the Restless, Victoria faces the end of a chapter that began with love but is now tainted by betrayal and heartbreak. As Cole, the man she once loved, nears his death, painful secrets come to light that threaten to unravel everything she thought she knew about her family. Victoria never imagined that her reunion with Cole would be under such tragic circumstances. Years of separation had dulled the intensity of their love, but as Cole battles a terminal illness, she finds herself grappling not only with the impending loss of him, but also with an earth-shattering revelation. The couple, once deeply connected, now confronts their past in the most unexpected way. In his final moments, Cole confesses a devastating truth that shatters Victoria's world. The daughter she raised, Claire, is not her biological child. This revelation strikes at the very core of everything Victoria believed about her family. The realization that Claire had deceived her for years leaves Victoria conflicted, torn between a deep sense of betrayal and the love she has for Claire, whom she considered her own flesh and blood. As Victoria processes this shocking truth, she is faced with a difficult decision. Should she marry Cole, fulfilling his last wish before his death? The emotional weight of this decision is overwhelming. On one hand, a hasty wedding could offer a sense of closure for both Cole and Victoria, but on the other, it might intensify the heartbreak and confusion already clouding her mind. Time is running out, and every choice seems to lead her down a path from which there is no return. In an effort to make the most of the time they have left, Victoria decides to move forward with the wedding, despite the circumstances. The decision shocks those around her, especially her father, Victor, who expresses concern over the hasty nature of the ceremony. However, Victoria's determination prevails. She arranges the wedding with the hope that it will bring her some peace in her final moments with Cole. The wedding is a bittersweet affair, with family and friends gathering to witness the union of two souls whose time together is tragically limited. Despite the overwhelming sadness, the ceremony is filled with genuine emotion. Victoria's vows to Cole are filled with love and finality. "I will be your wife, Cole. No matter what, I will love you forever." But the celebration is short-lived. After the wedding, Cole's final confession sets off a new wave of turmoil. As he lays dying, the painful truth about Claire's identity continues to haunt Victoria. The life she thought she had built with Claire now feels like a lie, and she is left to grapple with the consequences of this newfound reality. The emotional toll of these revelations is compounded by Claire's own struggles. Caught in a web of family secrets and Victor's manipulative tactics, Claire faces a crossroads in her own life. Torn between her loyalty to Cole and her unresolved feelings for Kyle, Claire is forced to confront the harsh realities of her family dynamics. Meanwhile, Victor's pressure intensifies as he manipulates the situation to keep Claire from pursuing her relationship with Kyle, demanding that she choose between love and family duty. As the tensions escalate, Claire must decide whether to continue fighting for her love with Kyle or submit to her family's demands. With Cole's death looming and the stakes higher than ever, Claire's future hangs in the balance. In this tragic turn of events, Victoria must come to terms with not only the loss of the love of her life, but also the painful truths about her family. The last moments with Cole, though filled with love, also mark the beginning of an emotional journey that will change everything she thought she knew about herself and those she trusted most. The Young and the Restless continues to explore the complex nature of love, betrayal, and the choices we make when faced with life's most difficult moments. Victoria's story serves as a reminder that sometimes the truth, no matter how painful, is the only way forward. In a pivotal moment on The Young and the Restless, Chelsea Lawson's world unravels as the weight of years of secrets and deception finally takes its toll. For months, Chelsea had held on to a fragile semblance of normalcy, especially in her strained relationship with Adam. However, Adam's suspicions grew sharper, and he began to ask questions Chelsea wasn't prepared to answer. The fragile foundation of their family was cracking, and the truth was about to come to light. Adam had once believed that Connor was his biological son, but Chelsea had been hiding a painful secret. Billy Abbott was actually Connor's father. Chelsea, trembling with the weight of years of deception, finally admitted the truth to Adam. The moment she uttered the words, "Connor isn't your son. Billy is his biological father," the shock on Adam's face was undeniable. Adam's world, built around the idea of being a father to Connor, was collapsing. Despite the emotional devastation, Adam's response was one of denial. His heart and identity were tied to Connor, and the idea of losing that bond was unbearable. However, Chelsea was resolute. She explained that it wasn't about their relationship anymore, it was about Connor's future. Chelsea's revelation struck Adam deeply, though part of him had always suspected something was amiss. His pride and ego prevented him from fully embracing the truth. What followed was a turbulent battle for control, not just over Connor's life, but over the very identity Adam had forged for himself. Adam admitted to having known deep down that something was wrong, but had kept up the facade to avoid the pain. His bitterness toward Billy only grew, refusing to allow Billy a place in Connor's life, despite the truth. Chelsea, meanwhile, had reached a breaking point. For years, she had protected Connor from the complex reality of his parentage, believing that Adam, despite the lies, was a stable father figure. But as Connor grew older and began questioning his roots, Chelsea realized that the truth could no longer remain hidden. It was time for Billy to know. The moment Chelsea finally told Billy the truth, that Connor was his son, was a revelation that left him shocked yet strangely relieved. Billy had long suspected something deeper about his bond with Connor, but hearing the confirmation brought a sense of clarity. Although the truth was difficult to process, Billy welcomed the opportunity to finally step into his rightful role as Connor's father. However, the revelation also intensified the rivalry between him and Adam. As Billy embraced his new role, Adam's jealousy and anger surged, spiraling into an emotional turmoil that left him unable to accept the new reality. For Adam, the truth was a personal attack on everything he had believed about his family, and his resentment toward Billy reached a boiling point. The complexities of fatherhood, possession, and pride now defined Adam's actions, pushing him further away from the family he had tried to protect. Meanwhile, Connor, caught in the middle of this fractured family dynamic, struggled to reconcile his feelings. While he had always looked up to Adam as a father figure, the revelation of Billy's true paternity left him confused and torn. Could he truly embrace Billy as a father after all these years? The emotional weight of the situation was heavy for Connor, who found himself trapped between two men who both wanted to claim him as their own. As Chelsea navigated the turmoil of revealing the truth to Billy and managing the fallout with Adam, she also faced a personal crossroads. The decision to leave her career at Marchetti to pursue a new opportunity was another difficult choice. Though she loved her work, Chelsea felt the need for growth and change, and this new opportunity, despite being tied to Adam, was a chance for her to break free from her past and forge her own future. This decision, while seen as a personal and professional breakthrough, was also influenced by her complicated relationship with Adam. Despite their tumultuous past, Adam's offer was one Chelsea couldn't ignore. Yet, even as she sought independence, the shadows of her past with Adam loomed large. As Chelsea prepared to leave Marchetti, the emotional and professional consequences of her decision weighed heavily on those around her. Summer Newman, Chelsea's mentee and friend, struggled with the thought of losing her mentor. While she understood Chelsea's need for growth, the reality of change within the company was hard to accept. The news of Chelsea's departure also left Summer questioning the future of Marchetti, as Chelsea had always been a cornerstone of the company. For Chelsea, the decision was about more than just career advancement. It was about redefining her future without the constant ties to her past. Yet, as Adam's anger continued to simmer, she couldn't help but wonder if she could truly escape the influence of their shared history. Would Adam accept her choice to move on, or would his pride and resentment continue to drive a wedge between them? As the story unfolds, the emotional and familial battles continue to shape the characters' lives. Chelsea's decision to embrace the truth, both personally and professionally, marks a turning point for everyone involved. With the weight of secrets lifted, the road ahead is uncertain, and the consequences of these revelations will affect not just the immediate family, but the entire community around them. The journey toward acceptance, healing, and rebuilding begins, but it remains to be seen whether the characters can overcome their pasts to forge a future together. In the latest episode of The Young and the Restless, Chelsea Lawson faces a pivotal moment as she grapples with revealing a long-held secret to Adam Newman. For months, Chelsea had been holding onto a fragile semblance of normalcy, but the constant tension with Adam had taken its toll. As Adam's suspicions grew, it became increasingly difficult for Chelsea to maintain the facade, especially regarding the truth about their son Connor. Adam had believed Connor was his son for years, having formed a deep emotional connection with him. However, Chelsea finally admitted the painful truth. Billy Abbott, not Adam, was Connor's biological father. This revelation hit Adam hard, as it shattered the foundation of his fatherhood and sent him into an emotional spiral. Despite the shock, Adam's pride and love for Connor kept him from accepting the truth. He struggled with the idea of letting Billy take a place in Connor's life, even though he had raised the boy as his own. Chelsea, though conflicted, felt it was time to face the truth. She had spent years protecting Connor from the complexities of his parentage, but she could no longer deny him the opportunity to know his biological father. The revelation left Billy stunned, but it also provided him with a sense of relief and joy. After years of questioning his connection to Connor, he finally understood the bond they shared. However, the truth had far-reaching consequences. Adam, filled with bitterness and resentment, refused to let go of his role as Connor's father. His obsession with keeping Connor in his life, despite knowing the truth, created a rift with both Chelsea and Billy. As Adam's anger grew, Chelsea feared for the stability of their family. The emotional fallout from this revelation left Chelsea torn between the two men in her life, knowing that both would fight to maintain their connection with Connor. Amidst the turmoil, Chelsea also faced a professional crossroads. She received an unexpected offer to leave her position at Marchetti, a decision that was influenced by her complicated past with Adam. Though Chelsea tried to distance herself from him, his influence in her life remained undeniable. As she contemplated her future, Chelsea faced the challenge of carving out a new path, both personally and professionally, while navigating the complex dynamics of her relationships with Adam, Billy, and Connor. The episode leaves viewers wondering if Adam will ever come to terms with the truth, or if his pride and jealousy will prevent him from forming a healthy relationship with Connor. Chelsea's journey towards self-discovery is just beginning, and the emotional battles she faces will test her resolve in ways she never expected. The future of her family and career remains uncertain, with the weight of past secrets threatening to unravel everything.